Hello.
Well, hello, everyone. If you're live with us, if you're live with us, there we go. If you're live with us, then you know we're on my page, Laleh Hancock. If you're watching this later, I'm Laleh, and here's my friend Marja.
Hello.
Hello. It's been a long
Thank you for having
time.
me here. Yeah.
Well, I'm very glad that you and I made it, even though we're on a delay with each other because technology's been really funny today. But that happens sometimes, you know. We have a topic of business and the spirits of the earth. And that invites a lot of different energies to come and play with us too. So, Marja, tell me, you're also
Yes, Laleh.
you're also a joy of business facilitator and also a talk to the entities facilitator. Yeah.
Yes, both.
And I'm
Thank
curious,
you.
what does it mean, business and the spirits of the earth to you?
Well, actually, until you said business and spirits of the earth today, I actually have never really considered cognitively or thought about those two together. But as I am now considering them and being aware and being present with that, it actually makes a lot of sense, as because we as humanoids are basically stewards of the earth, and we're embodied spirits of the earth, and we really adore the earth. We love the earth. We would like to take care of the earth and cherish the earth and nurture the earth, as it's similar to like a bigger body. So we have our body that's flesh and blood, and then there's the bigger body that's the earth. And we basically, when we open our eyes, we say in access consciousness, we say, you know, if you're just breathing and if your blood is pumping through your veins, you're in business. So basically, we always are in business, or we are engaging with the earth all the time. And how much are we not receiving from, like, what the earth can be for us and for what it desires to contribute to our business and as a business. So there's so many things that come up when you ask that question, and we have so many areas and nuances that we could, explore together. So I'm wondering what that brings up for you as well, Laleh. What do you know about that?
Yeah. Well, anyone who's ever watched anything that I've done, whether it's a program or the lives, they know that for me, I love our magical planet and finding ways that we can engage more and more with the planet, and also what we create to include the planet. And, you know, years ago, I mean, you're a lawyer. In addition to all the other things that you do, I'm a management consultant, entrepreneur. I do a lot of things around the world. And always was this gift of listening and hearing things. And so for me, businesses have always had a voice. And I didn't know what that included until the last 10 years of utilizing the tools of access consciousness. And before that, there were some other tools that I was using. But now I perceive the consciousness of the businesses differently. And like, You know, when today we were talking about business and the spirits of the earth, you know, the earth is always here to contribute. But so often we make it that it's our job to do something for the earth. We have to save the planet. We have to take care of the planet, where the planet really in one little squish, like one massive earthquake across the globe, we'd all be gone. You know, the earth can take care of itself. The thing is, how can we also be this gifting and receiving with the earth? How can we start to let go these judgments and decisions we've made, which really creates more havoc for the earth, you know? So being really more of ourselves. And so every day for me, it's a play of what are these elements? What are these energies? What are these consciousnesses that are desiring to come and play with my business or my businesses? Or also what desire to come play, because they're actually here for someone else. They're here for creating something very different that may include my energy. So like you said, this whole topic of our business, it's your living. I mean, every day of your life is the business of your life. And also we are part of the earth. Our bodies, I mean, we wouldn't have bodies if we weren't, you know, part of the earth. But also ways of how to stop fighting the energies and to actually embrace, engage, and allow us to have a different kind of communion with the earth, with the elements of the earth, with the spirits of the earth, and be able to create greater whatever we would like to create.
Yeah, beautifully said. And also what came up for me was what the changes that have now been created through all that's going on right now on the planet. We tend to go into wrongness, or we tend to go into despair, or we tend to go into judgment or into contraction. But what if this is basically a new possibility to explore new possibilities with the earth, or communing and having a business, or creating new businesses, new ideas, new creations that we could contribute to the earth, or we could let the earth contribute to us and to our businesses, and we can create something different together to evolve, let our businesses evolve and to include the earth, and that we've probably never considered before so far, until these changes have been created or implemented or experienced.
Yeah.
And yeah, and there has not, like, I've never seen before people really engaging that much with the earth, or being aware of the planet as they are being now, because actually we've come to a time or a place when we actually have to be more present with what's going on and with the earth, because we've also, since the lockdown, since all that stuff, we weren't so able to travel as we could before, and move our bodies, and basically, even with the lockdowns in the beginning, we saw what it created when everyone stood still, what it created for the earth, for the planet. And there's also totally new paradigm for people and for the world, like for humanity, to basically see what is possible, and what can we be different, and how can we utilize the tools and whatever we have, even businesses, even companies, even infrastructure, everything we have, to create something greater with the planet, for the planet as well.
Well, I love that since we started our Facebook Live, it started raining outside.
Of course.
You know, I'm in Florida and I came and
The
it's
earth is
cold.
talking. Yeah.
And but exactly what you said, I think most people don't even realize some of even the intensities in their body that they're noticing more and more of is the earth is speaking with their body. The earth is changing and our bodies are picking up those changes as well. And that's the thing, you know, it's funny because, you know, I've been in business over 30 years and I could tell you, oh yeah, the business talks to me, but people thought I was weird when I would say that. I'm like, no, I hear, I literally hear words, or I hear something, or I see something, you know, and back then it was like, oh, Laleh, you're just being a little silly. But now I realize that each of us has a different way that the earth communicates with us and our bodies, and different ways that we receive information, energies, ideas. And so it is the whispers of the future, it is the whispers of the earth, it's these amazing beings. You know, you can call them nature beings, we can call them spirits of the earth, that are also contributing to us. And, you know, for me, like you said, we used to travel everywhere. And then when, you know, COVID lockdowns occurred, my body was in Portugal. So I ended up staying there. And the property I was at had a million trees. And so for me, there was like a new world of communication with nature. And I would talk to trees all the time. I was receiving from trees all the time, but it was a different kind of communication that I experienced. And then now adding this new concept, this new, whatever you want to call it, new way of communicating also with the businesses, and how, you know, I'm guided differently, like just asking a question, like even just saying, Earth, what can I contribute to you today? Earth, what can you contribute to me today? And what that opens up.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know?
Wow. Yeah, and also a lot of people don't really realize until they do, like me, for example, that a business has its own consciousness. It's not a dead thing, or it's just not a thing, or it's not just something you know, work on or work with, or it's basically similar to like how you would work, how would you be engaging with the person, or like you said, with trees and with different kinds of entities, because it is, business is itself, it is an entity, it has consciousness, and it's so beautiful when you actually start realizing it does communicate, like and then when you open up to that different communication, like you were saying, that you were really brilliantly saying that, how you can start opening up for different types or different layers and different kinds of communication, and you start receiving more, and you start opening up more, and then you perceive and hear your business differently. Or even if you before didn't, you start hearing the whispers, what your business can guide you with, choices, with creations, where to put your energy and attention. It becomes your partner. Actually, you start playing with your business, and it's not a thing of like, it's not a hard, it doesn't have to be hard, it starts being fun, it starts to be an adventure.
Yeah. And some days it just seems weird. You know, it just seems like the flow that you had, there's just so many new energies that are available. There's so many new things your business wants to invite you, because so often we look at where we are. We look at, okay, I'm in Florida, I'm here, my business is this, instead of your business is already playing with the future and inviting you to this new door that's just opened and saying, let's go, choose it, let's go together. And like even this morning, I was having a meeting with my staff, and we were looking at different projects that are coming up and different new consulting projects that I'm looking at and different things we're building around the world. And like all of them, it was like this energy of like, yeah, it's happening. These are things we need to know. But there was this other energy of something so much bigger that wanted our attention. And I said, guys, I perceive it, but I'm not sure what it is. Let's not define it. But there is this new world that is becoming available. And so, sometimes it is that moment where you're like, oh, I'm so bored, or that moment that you're like, oh, this seems so weird and so uncomfortable. But that's when you have to not kill the business and instead say, ooh, what am I aware of? What have I been asking for that's showing up different? And business, what are you whispering to me? Can you share it in a different way so I can actually get what you're saying? But just that willingness to be in the question. And it doesn't mean that today I'm going to have the answers. But even like us having this Facebook Live when we were talking about businesses and stuff, like it's giving me more of the energies. Like I'm receiving more of like, oh, that's a possibility, And so, I think a lot of times we're looking for the magic pill, like, okay, what is the earth saying? Or what is the business saying? And it's like, we want it now instead of there's these energies, they are creating themselves. And, some of it's just little trickles that haven't even formed into something yet. And if we're willing to actually be patient and relax, there's energies we can start to receive. There's questions we can start to receive. There's possibilities that we can start to receive. And just, I would say, know that those moments when you feel like everything's not working out, it just means you're a couple steps away from something even bigger in your life.
Yeah. Yeah. Wow. And also, well, what actually started coming up, the awareness is started coming up when you were saying that how our businesses don't actually have judgments and points of view like we have, and they can actually facilitate far greater if we actually are willing to listen. And for example, we have the limitation, we have to be just, for example, me just in Slovenia, I have to just have a business situated in Slovenia. And then my business is like, no, we can go bigger. We can go all over the planet. Hey, why are you holding back? And then I'm like, oh, wow. I would never have maybe thought of that, or I wouldn't reach so far or reach so wide if my business wasn't, for example, facilitating me or guiding me or asking for that. And then I get to change I get to change a lot with receiving my business and being with my business and being an allowance of that and seeing where my asks are congruent with the asks of my business, or actually get to, expand more. I get to reach further. I don't have to kill my business if I go into my head and think, oh, no, I'm here physically in Slovenia. So therefore, I have to do it just here, instead of like, oh, what else is possible? Actually, thank you for reminding me, business, that we can go we can go anywhere. We can be anything. We can expand.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But it's the dance, it's like, it's I think sometimes we forget that it's about the play, Like when we were little kids, we played with everything. There was the curiosity of it. And I wonder what it will create when we have the curiosity with our businesses and with the earth every single day. Like you said earlier, the earth is gifting us continuously. It's just, are we willing to receive it? And so, anything that you guys are doing for the earth, anything you're asking questions about, would you be willing just for a couple of seconds, just be present and said, yes, I will receive. Yeah. So Maria,
Yes.
you and I,
I have to, yeah.
you and I have never facilitated together, but we're actually going to facilitate together this week. So do you want to just maybe share a little bit about our introduction to the Talk to the Entities class that's coming up?
Yes, we are facilitating an introduction of Talk to the Entities and on the 10th of February. So that's day after tomorrow.
Mm-hmm.
And it's, yeah. So I'm already excited because there's been so much that's coming up with regards to that. And we have so much to, both of us have to say about that. And also the entities have so much to say. Also in with regards to communication, whatever is coming up, but actually it's basically a very fun class that has we actually facilitate the basic introduction and basic introduce the basic tools of Talk to the Entities. Plus, I wonder what else are we gonna talk about, and what else that will open up for the facilitation or for the creation of the whole thing.
Yeah, what I love is there's no such thing
Yeah.
as basic, but we can call it that. And come explore and play. We'll talk about a lot of different things, business included, money included, relationships included, but like it really is this play and curiosity of what is it that you're desiring to add to your life and living, and what contribution can the spirits, the beings of consciousness actually contribute to what it is that you are desiring to create on the planet. And also like the joy of it. You know, I think so often we're so bogged down by what's going on around us. But the minute that you actually start this communication and communion with the beings of light and spirits of the earth, what ends up happening is it actually expands to be possibilities, expands to be more ease, and a level of trust and knowing in you that a lot of times we haven't given ourselves. So we invite you to come play. It's 2 hours online via Zoom, and it's available to everyone. There's no prerequisites. And even if you've done it before, I wonder what else would be possible with this particular creation. So, well, thank you everyone for being here.
Yeah.
I know, Marja,
Okay.
your daughter's coming, so you got to run. But thank you so much.
She's already here. She's already like, yeah.
Oh, cool.
She's waiting. She's waiting for me to finish that. Yeah.
Well, give her a big kiss for me, and I will see you.
I will. Yeah, and also, sorry for the delay. There's been this interesting thing with communication, but still, as we were mentioning, entities and kids, we'll also dive into what kids know and what what we can facilitate for the kids with the kids and with entities. So that's something that I'm really looking forward to. You too, probably, Laleh, and probably a lot of other people. So come play with us. Thank you so much, Laleh, for this conversation. It was really amazing. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. And thank you everyone who's here, who you're watching us now or you're watching later. And if you guys have any questions, just message me or Maria, okay? Thank you. Bye, everyone.
Yes.
Bye, Maria.
So much.